That ball's going to be tipped and caught. It's a miracle. Let's talk about Jorge Lopez.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partner at Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And also another call out for fan videos. How are you feeling about the Cubs as they enter the offseason? Send a video of 2 minutes or less to locsoundoff@gmail.com and you could be on the show. All right, it's a Monday. Bears with just a dramatic loss.
Traumatic.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later as well.
Traumatic.
And so we get to talk about Jorge Lopez. And I make that transition because, the offseason is going to open this week, one way or the other. Could open as soon as Wednesday. And here you have a guy in Lopez. He made his Cubs debut in late June. He emerged as a legit threat out of the pen, allowing only 2 runs in his first 23 innings. He ended up finishing with a 2.03 ERA and 31 strikeouts and 26 2/3 after Jed Hoyer picked him up. And he pitched okay with the Mets earlier in the year. He was released. He threw his glove when he left the game. Then he possibly miscommunicated or incorrectly communicated with reporters after a game. But the reason why we're talking about this today is because Lopez is a free agent this offseason. However, once the offseason begins, there is a 5-day window in which free agents can talk only to the team they finished the season with. And Sam, I just wonder, given how much juice he gave the bullpen there, why can't this be a super early signing? Keep not only that depth, but that effectiveness in your bullpen. Here's a guy that worked after spending time in your system. I'd like to see Jorge Lopez back, and I think they should do it soon.
Cubs.
Can you stop saying as soon as Wednesday? I don't want to see a sweep.
Okay.
In this World Series. Stop putting that out in the air.
You want more baseball?
Yeah, I wanted this series to be good. I guess we'll talk about that later on.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, look, Lopez did a nice job here. He was one of the guys that resurrected the bullpen when it was horrendous. He wouldn't have had any of bad outings if he wasn't incorrectly used when he was clearly injured and hampered.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know year to year how these guys are going to be, right? I mean, he's a great example. He was all right with the Mets, and then he came here and he was lights out. It's unpredictable, but I think he's a pretty good reliever. I think his floor is still high enough where even if he's not good, he's a nice guy to bring in the 5th, 6th, 7th if you have to. We've talked about it because of the postseason. You need a bunch of these guys. I'd like to think if the price is right, they could agree on a deal early and bring them on. I'm not like losing sleep over it by any means.
No.
If they didn't get Lopez back.
I just think it'd be a good idea.
No,
why did you do that?
Well, because it's
not my whole show's rattled.
No, but I would like to have him back. And I think that, he was headed in a direction where I don't think he was going to get a lot of money, and the Cubs gave him an opportunity. So hopefully there could be hopefully there could be a mutual, hey,
exactly.
you're probably worth about $5 million on the open market. We'll give you 3.5, 4, but you really were worth about nothing until we brought you on. Let's make this work and get it done quickly so the Cubs can at least go, all right, if we really strike out, no pun intended, with the bullpen, we still feel good about Lopez being like our 6th, 7th inning guy. Because I think if Ben Brown's healthy, I think it's going to be Brown and Hodge at the back end.
Mhm.
And I think if Little's healthy, they're going to mix him in with lefties late. But Lopez will give you, again, what Jed talked about, depth. And I think they can get that done quickly.
Right, and they can sign another veteran too, maybe in a month or two.
Right.
And closer to the winter meeting.
Maybe like a left-hander.
When more of those hot names are out there. But this is just Lopez is such a good candidate. Okay, let's wrap him up. We're okay. We can talk about who do the Cubs have at the back end going into the winter meetings? Hodge, Miller, Brown, Lopez, Little, others. So I want to see this happen. I like your price point, actually. The most he made in a single season was in 23 at 3.5 M's. And that was following an all-star season in 22, by the way. He was all-star selection in 2022 with the Orioles. So I would think, about 4 to 5 million open market. So I say, okay, go another year, provide him more security. Let's wrap this puppy up. Two for 8. 2 years, 8 M's. Let's wrap it up.
I think it could be even less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
2.
So
I think with 2, it could be
2
like
for 7.
2 for 7 would be fine.
So I really would like to see this done. I forgot about his time with the Brewers and Royals. I was looking up his baseball card. I don't remember that at all. I remember him emerging with the O's. And then got traded to the Twins and bounced around a little bit before signing with the Cubs last summer. But I think that he was actually one of the better stories of the year in terms of player acquisition from the outside and really turning him into a legit piece that could be something in 2025.
They got him for nothing after a tough moment in New York, and for a large stretch of the campaign, he was their best relief pitcher.
He really was.
There's no question. Until he hurt his groin, he was the best guy going in the bullpen. Could I ask you, I know you're going to stump me later on for our Trivia Tuesday. Can I ask you a trivia question?
Yeah.
Regarding this? Speaking of lefties, there's your hint.
Right.
Do you remember the Cubs' technical first acquisition of last offseason that we talked about on this show?
So was it like a waiver claim or something?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was a lefty that pitched the previous year in Japan.
Correct.
Yeah, Escobar.
Correct. Edwin Escobar. Remember we did like a whole segment on him. And,
a whole segment.
And he never pitched for this team.
Well, let's go over this on the air. So I want next week, to do a position by position free agent preview.
Yeah.
And then do we also do separately like a wish list episode?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really different this year because there isn't like unless something happens with Soto, which it won't. There's not like a clear guy to get to in free agency. Like I talked about Pete Alonso yesterday, but by no means is that a done deal. It's just that's just an option.
Santander, similar.
Yeah, we could talk about that. We could talk about different trades. I'd still like to grade Dansby Swanson at some point here shortly.
Oh, okay.
Because that's not a high grade.
Okay, I wasn't. Yeah, I'm starting to get lukewarm on the grades, but we should finish those.
No, let's just at least let's get Dansby in there.
Okay. Yeah, we got to, right?
Because he did not have a good campaign.
Okay.
Just because he led the team in WAR and was great defensively, he's not going to earn a high grade for me.
Fangraphs had him as 23rd best player in the league.
And go back to my episode a couple weeks ago. There you go.
Boog said he stepped up at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm okay with doing like a wish list. And we'll get. I'm sure the rumor mill will pick up. It's quiet right now.
It's going to pick up rapidly.
It's going to be a lot of I just feel like it's going to be a lot of like pitcher conversation. But we're going to just come back to the same thing.
So what do you mean by that? The Cubs are going to be most involved in the rumor mill with pitchers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're going to come back and we're all rightfully just going to be so what are we going to do with the offense? And I just think we might end up like in a really kind of just like, all right, well,
maybe just promote the prospects.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. So, this is going to be a very different offseason from last year, I hope so. No, but I just mean from a content perspective.
Oh, okay.
Like last year, we had stuff every day. There was a Chapman episode. There was a Bichette episode. There was a Soto episode. There was 5 different Ohtani episodes. It's going to be there's nothing like that right now.
No, it's been different. It's been a very different pace.
Yeah, very different pace. And it's just the biggest question of the offseason as I step up to hit here is how big of a swing is Jed Hoyer willing to take to save his job? How big of a swing? Is it going to be like a little punch hit to right field, or is he going to try and break the video board?
Right. Could that be a big trade with the team on the West Coast? A's, Mariners, Astros, something like White Sox.
Well, I don't want to name. What are they going to trade with the White Sox? Doritos?
Well, Crochet and Robert.
No. No to both those guys. No.
Robert could play right. Crochet could be in the rotation.
I don't trust Crochet's arm health, and I don't want Robert.
Gotcha. All right, I might have just done that to bait you. Coming up next.
No.
We do talk World Series.
It's just been a hard enough day.
I do hope it goes past 4 games, but we'll see. Stay tuned.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to take on the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Folks, I lost in more ways than one Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
Thought the Bears were going to cover the 1, and they would have if it wasn't for an incompetent coaching staff that didn't have the team ready to play offensively and compounded it with major mistakes defensively, rushing 3 on a Hail Mary, not having any big receivers or tight ends to knock the ball down, not calling a timeout before the play, not having a linebacker there spying the quarterback or running back. They had to get 70 yards. What's he spying? It was rough, and I'm not over it, and it's going to be quite a while until I will be. The Bears are already 2-point underdogs next week in Arizona, which is eyebrow-raising because that should be basically a home game. There's a lot of Chicagoans that live in Arizona,
including a lot of my family going to that game.
Yeah, and I like the Bears in a vacuum, but I don't know if I can go that route again. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. It's America's #1 sports book.
We are going to talk some World Series right here. Game 3 about to get underway as we record here on a Monday evening. World Series is at 2-0 Dodgers lead. To continue to support my ball go far, team go far theory, just want to point out the Dodgers did hit 4 home runs already in the first 2 games. Sam, any observations from the first 2 games of the Fall Classic?
Yeah, what we talk about all the time on this show, Game 1, the Yankees didn't do the little things well. They should have won that game. It's very difficult to beat a team like the Dodgers 4 out of 7 times and then give away one of the games. They didn't back up the second baseman, Torres, who didn't have a great effort of the ball. Ohtani gets a third. That leads to a tie ball game. Wow. Boone decides to go with Nestor, which on the surface I supported because I totally forgot Tim Hill was still there. He could have went with Hill. He decided to go with Nestor. Nestor gets Ohtani, but Freddie crushes him. There was a couple other plays. There was a great play by Tommy Edman to save a run by stopping a ball, even though he didn't get an out. Just the Dodgers just did a couple more little things in Game 1, and the Yankees really should have earned a split. And the Dodgers took Game 2. So now, the Yankees need to do the little things well, but really Aaron Judge needs to step up. It's becoming a thing. I thought the series had a chance to go 7. It really did. I still kind of do. Yeah. The Yankees need to win tonight, but that's assuming that Aaron Judge is not going to hit somebody that's not the opposite of Aaron Judge. And I mentioned it yesterday. It's becoming a thing now, so he needs to debunk that and start hitting.
Yeah, that is a big surprise. I thought that was going to even out last series, and it never did. I thought the Dodgers being up 1-0 with Yamamoto on the mound was trending towards them being up 2-0.
Yeah, game 2 was their win. Yep.
And now they're up 2-0, and I just
Well, you think this thing's going to be over by Wednesday?
Well, do I see a path to it continuing to be competitive and the Yankees putting up a fight? Sure, and I think I do want to see that, but I'm prepping. I'm prepping as okay. Cody Bellinger's on the clock Wednesday, and coaching changes are going to start to be announced, and hirings, and any surprise firings and things like that. So
the Yankees need to respond back tonight.
Yeah, they have to.
They need to respond back, make this a series, get us to Tuesday night. They should have a good crowd there. They got Buehler on the mound for the Dodgers, who's been very hit or miss this year. The Yankees need to let the country know that they're not going to go down like that. They respond tonight.
Yeah, no, I hope you're right. The other thing that I wanted to go over here was a report, speaking of lack of rumors, well, maybe this will kick it off because John Heyman reported Sunday the Dodgers will pursue Juan Soto this offseason. And I'm chuckling because Heyman didn't just write this, like he had actual reporting in his story about the TV deal, about all the international deals after the Ohtani and Yamamoto signing in terms of sponsorship. And so Heyman laid out the case. Hey, the Dodgers can afford Soto despite the huge Ohtani signing last winter. I think this is incredible.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not surprised. Like, I thought that was kind of a given. I thought it was going to be Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers, those three. The Ohtani deal has allowed them that flexibility. Their TV deal is great. They're really, really aggressive. And if you're Juan Soto, why not? Because even if you ultimately want to stay in New York, you just drive the price up. Mm-hmm. So at this point, I would expect him to go back to the Bronx. But I've always thought anytime there is like a blue chip guy, right? Like a Judge, a Soto, an Ohtani, back in the day, a Trout, whoever it is, the Dodgers are always going to have a say. Wow. They're always going to have a say. They have that much money bringing in, and they're really aggressive. We don't have a good TV situation.
We might get to that later this week.
Well, if we do get to it later this week, I have a pretty big announcement to make.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I can announce it now, but I don't want to
tease it.
It's really not that big. Anyway,
no. Heyman noted the Dodgers have been on every stud player except for Judge, and that was because that really was out of respect.
It's a blue chip player. You don't. If Juan Soto's a free agent, any team that could sniff affording him should be in the conversation. You're getting a guy. He's 26.
It's crazy.
And he, let's just say this, he doesn't look overwhelmed in the series.
No. And
he looks pretty comfortable, doesn't he?
And let's do the Soto episode next week, I guess. And because I don't think there's a team in baseball that needs him more than the Cubs. The fit's so obvious.
And I talked about this on a show a couple weeks ago. I think deep down he doesn't realize it, but he needs the Cub.
Wow.
Because this is the place where his brand isn't going to go anywhere with the Yankees because, first of all, he's not even the biggest star in his own team.
Right.
And then if he goes to the Mets, they're the little brother.
Right. And then
and in LA, nobody cares about baseball.
And Ken Rosenthal floated the Blue Jays, making a big offer.
Going to get used as bait again.
Wow.
No, Soto, the Cubs would be great, but I think I don't think it's going to happen.
It would inject so much into our fan base, our show.
No. For us, it would be life-changing.
Yeah, he's a life-changing player.
It is
just like Ohtani would have been.
Just like Ohtani. There's Ohtani, Judge, Soto, those three guys, and maybe to a lesser extent Bobby Witt, because I think he doesn't get the appreciation Kansas City. I think those four guys, if they came here for us having a daily show of content, it would change our lives.
No, I believe you. I believe you. It excites me. And then it
Why?
saddens
Why?
me.
Why would it excite you? It's not happening.
Well, it saddens me the next moment because they might not even have a seat at the table with this guy.
And last year, I told you, I really thought at one point there was close to a 50% chance we were in on Ohtani. I really thought that.
So Matty Lee from the Sun-Times reported recently, actually, that the Cubs finished third. They were in it until 2 nights before.
I really thought that secretly it was a fit.
No, they were in it.
I really did. And they were close, but that doesn't matter. So so Toronto was second.
Yes, they were.
Give me a break.
All right, coming up next. Well, he was going there, according to Morosi.
Give me a break.
Coming up next. All right. You doing a Halloween commercial for Kit Kat? What you doing?
Well, hopefully I stay away from the candy this Halloween.
Coming up next, we got some trivia. Stay tuned. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Want to play Prize Picks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sean O'Malley? Well, you can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, I have game 1 of the 2016 World Series trivia. And it's simple. Name the starting lineup.
Well, the Cubs lost this game.
Okay.
Corey Kluber was on the mound for Cleveland.
Here we go.
John Lester threw pretty well for the Cubs that day. But I don't think the game was particularly close. Was it like a 5-1 final or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have that. Sorry.
I don't. Well, I'm going to get it.
Okay. Sure. Starting lineup. I mean, Rizzo was over at first. Javi at second. Russell at short. Brian at third.
Right.
Zobrist was out in the outfield.
A 6-0 final.
Oh, 5. Yeah. Zobrist was out in the only time they came close to scoring was that Schwarber ball that hit off the wall. Schwarber was DHing.
Where was Zobrist?
Zobrist was somewhere in the outfield.
Yep.
And probably left.
Field, yeah.
And then Hayward was in right. And then with Lester pitching, it had to be Ross catching.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I'm showing Chris Coughlin starting in right. Who was with Hayward that day?
Game 1 of the World Series.
Yeah, what happened to him? I don't think he didn't even play that day. Should look into that.
I don't remember. I don't recall that. Maybe it was a matchup thing or.
And you say who was in short?
Russell.
Yep.
I said Russell, Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo was the infield.
Nice job.
It was a 6-0 final. If I remember correctly, in the first inning, I think Lester either hit a guy or like walked in a run or it was something weird, and then he settled down.
Right. So, yeah, I don't have that. So, hey, thank you so much for checking out this episode.
I don't remember Coughlin in that game.
Well, fact check me then.
Well, I don't think you're making it up. That was just a weird time to insert Coughlin in there.
Very odd, but Joe Madden worked his magic sometimes, even though they got shut out. LOCsoundoff@gmail.com. Send your videos now.
You're right.
We want to run those later this week.
3 for 4 Zobrist that day.
You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube. Smash the like button.
Big
for the
day
algorithm
for Roberto
and leave a
Perez.
5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcast. We'll do it again tomorrow. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Not a good day for Rodon.